In October 2019, I set out on my biggest adventure to date, planning to visit no less than 6 different countries, covering multiple venues and taking on some very big challenges. This solo adventure was about to be the most incredible journey of highs and lows and obscenely big carp I've ever experienced. Meeting up with some good friends, old and new, along the way, I plan to capture and film every step of this epic journey. From the nuclear sites of Belgium to the vast mountains in the Alps, this is Crossing Borders. My first stop was in Belgium, and after talking over Instagram with my good buddy Jeff, it was decided I would stop off for a night at a pretty special location. Starting the first leg of my journey in the early hours, and making my way across the channel, I was set for an early start at the lake. I decided to change my approach slightly due to the dense weed and snags I saw when I arrived. Tying up some heavy duty rigs with size 1 twisters and 35-pound armour cord, I didn't want to take any chances. Arriving at the swim, we wasted no time in getting set up. There was some relentless rain that day and we didn't want to get wet. Sorry for the very late update today, but it has been raining completely non-stop since we got to the spot. So just after we got the bivvy up, luckily managed to get all the kit in while it was dry, and then for the last 2-3 hours it's just been non-stop rain, and this is the first time it's actually started to brighten up a little bit. But I'm just going to give you a little spin round because check out, I'm not sure where you can see that behind me, but there is a massive nuclear power station literally on the spot, right behind me. Yep, so I've got 2 rods positioned out, nice 2 clear areas. There's a channel that leads through to like a big bowl section of the lake, and it's kind of like a sanctuary for the fish apparently. So hopefully at some point they'll be moving through, and Mr. Unsuspecting Carp will get caught by Mr. Brothercarp's rigs. Lovely job. With no action for the remainder of the afternoon, it was time to reposition the rods with fresh rigs for the night ahead. Finding small clear patches of gravel as close to the weed as possible was definitely my preference.
We've been running in the dark, let the street lights follow, hoping they will lead me back. Now we're letting in the light, now we're ready for tomorrow, leading us to where we start. Now we're finding something beautiful. The dawning lifts the
With the rods in place, a quick trip back to the van was in order for a well-deserved cup of tea and some sausage sandwiches.
Now we're running from the dark, turning every corner, illuminate the shadows, trying to catch the glow. Trying to catch the glow.
Oh my god, we've got one on. I'm absolutely buzzing, I can't believe it. First night on this huge pit. And we've, this is definitely a carp. I can't believe it.
Yeah, you better.
First night success.
Yeah, I can see him,
I think I can see him as well. Yeah, it's common. Yes. Yes. Oh, buzzing, that's a big common.
Oh no, it's not. I can't get it up.
It's alright, don't worry. It was a very tense moment as the carp sat precariously on the net cord amongst a huge ball of weed. He's kicking. Yeah, he's in. He's in.
Put another. Oh,
He's in.
yeah.
Yes!
Bro.
Come on! Yes! Oh, that is sick. That's a big fish.
Out of the way of the other line.
With the buzz of the first carp under our belt, neither of us were prepared for the action that would continue through the hours of darkness. Right, well, what an incredible carp from an incredible lake. And we're here at the nuclear power station. My first night on my big trip in Belgium. And massive big ups to Jeff for bringing me here. This was actually the third fish that I had last night. Unfortunately, I lost the second one. The first one's a bit special. And the last one is ridiculous. But yeah, 27 pounds, really doesn't matter how big it is. What an absolute stunner. Wild from a huge 250 acre lake. Couldn't have asked for more. Lovely job.
Now we're running from the dark. Running from the dark.
How's about that? What an incredible brace.
Now that's a night's fishing.
Amazing fishing. I never expected when I got the invite from Jeff that anything like this could ever happen. And less than 24 hours, literally less than 24 hours, 4 takes, we lost one. A 41 common, a monstrous 50-pound mirror. And yeah, what a session.
Well chuffed with this one.
Thank you, Jeff, man. This has been amazing.
Yeah, I'm really glad I had the chance to fish with you all night. And it paid off in an incredible fashion.
Right, so morning events are over. I've just put those fish back, and unfortunately it's time to say goodbye. Jeff in the background, both two very happy men. It's been an incredible session, short and sweet, and I'll have a smile on my face going off to the River Rhine, which is next on the list. So I'm going to pack all the gear up and head over and meet, I forgot his name. That's a good start, isn't it? Managing to get lost in a sea of German residential areas, I finally made my way to the spot that we were targeting. Jeff and Chris had arrived the day before to prep some areas. They had both helped me to get set up and let me fish the main channel into a small marina off the main river. Unfortunately, the river didn't throw up any of its secrets on this occasion, and after a night on the river we decided to head to a small lake about half an hour away. Sweet. After stopping off at a local newsagent's to get our licences, we made our way to a lovely little lake in the middle of a network of motorway bridges. Water level as well down. Despite the incredible amount of rain that we'd had in the last few weeks, the water level was around 4 foot down, so we decided to set up on the lake bed itself. I wasted no time in getting out to some likely looking areas, and after finding a really firm spot in front of some dense snags, I decided to position one rod here and bait lightly with a mixture of hemp and maize. Just sitting there doing a bit of work in the rain, and the left hand rod, as predicted, rattled off, but it's dumped me straight into the snag out there, and I think the fish has managed to get itself off. So Bit of a shame, but we'll go out on the boat anyway, see if we can't recover it. The night came and went, and before we knew it, it was time to start packing down again. With no further action, and my second night in Germany with no carp, it was looking like it wasn't going to happen. With a last-ditch attempt to steal a bite before we left, I repositioned a rod with a single citrus pop-up to some fizzing I had seen in the deeper water. With the dying moments of the session slowly fading away, and sat behind motionless rods, it was almost time to accept defeat. Come on, just literally moved this one. So I just moved it, I saw some fizzing down here, and I pulled that middle rod in and just put it down here, and it's gone straight away.
Great, man.
Quality, it's only a small one. Yes!
Great, yeah.
It's a scaly one, I think.
Yeah. Little beauty.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sick! In she goes, in she goes. Yes! Quality, man. Yes. Oh, it's a banger.
Oh yes.
Woo! Yes! Well, how's about that for an epic German mirror? And all seemed futile this morning after missing that run yesterday. It was looking unlikely that I was going to catch anything more. And with an hour to go, I saw some fizzing down to the right of the swim. Decided to put a rod on it. And yeah, this little beauty turned up about 5 minutes later. And it's my German PB, first time in Germany, with Enrico and Chris. And we started on the River Rhine. And I don't know what this lake's called, but it's got lovely little gems in it like this, so I'm well made up. Onto the Rhone and start the Danube, this afternoon. And hopefully a few more like this. Lovely job. With the citrus having saved the day again, it was time to get back on the road for my next leg of the journey. A 6-hour drive to south of Germany. Meeting up with Jonas at around 4 PM, it was a quick dash to get set up before darkness. Baiting heavily with Scopex squid boilies and fishing with very simple bottom bait rigs, there was nothing complicated about our approach. If the carp were here, then we would definitely catch them.
And we stood there, side by side.
The night had passed with a single chub for Jonas and nothing more. With Jonas leaving at first light for work, I was left to redo the rods and keep the swims topped up throughout the day.
Side by side. And didn't speak.
The day passed again without event, and it was clear the carp were not in our area. With Jonas arriving back later that evening, we decided to cut our losses and get on the move in the early hours.
And didn't speak.
Right, well, I've just stopped at a service station not far from the Austrian border, and I picked up some snacks, some drinks, and didn't really get much sleep last night, again because the river was just keeping me awake with loads of trees floating down, so I'm feeling pretty tired this morning, so I needed a little bit of a boost. But I've picked up my vignette most important when travelling through Austria, and I think Slovenia as well. I need to get one. So I got my vignette for 10 days. Not that I'm going to be in Austria for that long. And yeah, onward we go. On to the next destination, which is the Carp Centre in Austria. I'm going to head to the shop first. You'll remember this lake from the Nash social that they did a little while ago. And yeah, so heading there for a couple of nights before continuing on my journey to Slovenia. So with that being said, won't hang about, time to go on the road. Lovely. Alright, so we've just arrived here at the Carp Centre in Austria. And going to go in, have a chat with the lads and see about my ticket and pick up a few bits. Right, so now we've arrived at the correct Carp Centre. 40 minutes later. This is the right store. I didn't know they had two. So there we are, going to go in, have a chat with the guys, and then there's a supermarket next door, so I need to pop in and have some food as well.
Oh, Jamie, nice to meet you, buddy. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Everything's okay?
Yeah, everything's good. It's just tired now. It's been a long road so far. Hiya, Jamie. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I need to grab a couple of bits as well. First call. Having restocked with some essentials at the tackle shop, I needed to resupply the kitchen with some healthy food in the form of apples and beer. I was soon on my way to my swim after a guided tour from the guys at the tackle shop. This was the first time the sun had been out since I left England, and I was making the most of it while setting up on this beautiful lake. Getting the boat set up, I went out in search of some good areas to target for the night ahead. It's a good spot. It's a really good place to be there. That's what I'm looking for in terms of feeding areas. Just starting to shelve back down now, and there we have it. Some solid returns. Finding some likely areas, I baited heavily knowing the immense size of the carp in this lake.
Just waffling now, just because I want this epic view in the background. What can I talk about? Talk about epic sunrises. Hang on, about this. Oh, look at that. It's been a long day. Been up since 4:30 this morning. Didn't get much sleep last night, as you know. And it's time for some dinner and an early night. And I've got a bottle of wine that I think I'm going to start tonight and maybe finish tomorrow. Because I'm not greedy like that. I don't like to finish a whole bottle of wine in one night.
The night was once again uneventful, and I was starting to feel the big carp buzz from my first night in Belgium was slowly fading away. I knew I had to do something to swing the odds back in my favour, and after seeing some fish feeding in the bay to my right, it was time to get the rods back out on the spots.
It's actually really deep where those fish were fizzing. Probably in the vicinity of about 25-30 foot, I would imagine, just from the drop on the lead that I got. So if I do get a take from there, it might mean that the fish are actually feeding or sitting in the slightly deeper water. So that is note for reference for later. If that rod does go, it might pay off to put all the other rods into slightly deeper water. But let's see what happens.
Tying up some fresh blowback rigs, I decided to try some variations of the citrus hook baits for the rest of the day. With no further action for the afternoon, I braved the torrential rain in the fading evening light and decided to move one rod into the very deep water where I had seen the fish feeding in the morning. Hold on! Right, good evening amigos, and you're here live and direct on Bivicam 1 here in Austria on R1, and it's our final night here. And unfortunately, no good news or no updates to report really from today, apart from Mr. Crayfish, who graced the bank, let's just say, earlier on, and he was quickly disposed of before the rig went back out with fresh bait and fresh rigs. So yeah, bit disappointed if I'm honest. It's been a bit of a difficult one again at this lake. I know the weather conditions have been a bit changeable, but when I first got here I was super optimistic, really thought I was going to have some fish out. You know, I saw lots of fish on the Echo Sounder, and everything looked good. Happy with my swim. The lake wasn't overly pressured. There's only 2 other people on, so yeah, I was really expecting a run, at least by this time anyway. I suppose if you've got more than a couple of nights on your hands, you'd probably be able to build the swim a bit better. But on this occasion, it's not the case. Obviously, I'm straight off to Slovenia in the morning, so never mind. We can only do our best, and if our best doesn't work, then there's not much more we can do. At the end of the day, it's down to the carp, and they haven't wanted to feed this time around, so we've got one night left. I'm talking as if it's not going to happen, but I think honestly, if in my head I've kind of accepted the fact that it's probably not going to happen at this lake on this trip. So I suppose, well, yeah, that's it really. You've got to be in it to win it. The rods are out. Just up to the carp gods now tonight. But if no other updates from now, then you'll probably see me in the morning with a miserable face, packing up and ready to head off to Slovenia. And on that note, I'm going to head off to bed. I got laptop to my right, camera bits to the left, lots still left to do, no rest for the wicked. So yeah, signing out. Lovely job. Well, I was proper in the land of nod there, and it's just about to get light. I think it's about 5:30, 5:45, and the rod I moved into deeper water last night has ripped off. Very heavy. I'm not playing it hard at all. I'm just gonna play it nice and easy. I'm in no rush. It's just hitting the surface out there now. Very heavy fish. And she's done. Come on. Come on, in you come. Ah, in you come. That's it. Come on, big girl. In you come. Come on, big girl. In she goes. God, that's a big fish. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. That is a big mirror. That is a very big mirror. Morning. And I said the next time you see me, I'd have a miserable face if it was in the morning. But I've got totally the opposite. I've got the biggest grin ever. What an incredible morning. Not one, but 2 new PBs. Just blown away, really. I just really didn't think it was going to happen last night. I came to the conclusion. In my head, I was just like, I'm not feeling it. The water was quiet. Everything was like, I don't know, you just get that feeling that it's just not going to happen. And yeah, the fish started crashing late last night. Started boshing out, loads of movement, and I thought, oh, things are starting to wake up here. So I went to bed, went to sleep with a little bit of optimism. And then, yeah, about half an hour ago, not 1, but 2 PBs. I can't believe it. So yeah, I've got a monstrous common and lost for words, a monstrous, absolutely monstrous mirror, which I can't wait to show you. I'm just waiting for someone to come down and do some pictures for me, and we can get them up on the map. But yeah, what an incredible place. Never expected to have 2 fish over 20 kilos, but 2 fish over 25 kilos. That's just mega, absolutely mega. So stay tuned. We're going to get them out shortly. As I say, just waiting for someone to turn up, do some pictures for me, and yeah, wicked.
Oh. Well, how about that for a mega common? I've got to be honest with you, last night I did not think it was going to happen. I was a bit disheartened, to say the least, going into last night. I didn't see many fish showing, and despite being very confident on my spots, I just didn't think the fish were having it. But about midnight, about 1 AM midnight last night, they started to show, loads started crashing out, and I thought, this is looking good. And I wasn't wrong, because about 5 o'clock this morning, this ridiculous common picked up my hook bait. Fish tight to the margins, and caught on the ever faithful Scopex squid cultured pop-up. Thank you, baby. What an absolute beast. I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Well, that, my friends, is a proper Austrian monster. And if the big common wasn't big enough, then this one is going to blow you away, because it certainly did me. An incredible battle this morning. I played it very softly. I knew it was a monster fish. I could tell it was just so heavy on the end, plodding away. And this was from my deep spot that I changed the rod from the shallow bar, put it into the deep water, and yeah, it rattled off. But wow, what a monster. I am so buzzing with this one. Crazy, crazy big carp. And yeah, a very good send-off, as I've got to leave shortly for Slovenia. But what a trip so far. Mega, mega, mega. Buzzing.
It was a very quick pack up after those 2 fish, and I was soon on my way to my next destination in Slovenia.
Right, so we've just loaded the boats from the van, and that was an effort. I'm not sure if you can see quite how steep that is. Maybe if I pan around a bit, you can kind of get a bit of an idea there. So all the kit's gone down, as well as the boat, and that's why I'm out of breath. But we love it! Gonna get some mega time lapses of all these cars going over the motorway bridge. That's a bit special, that. Not everyone's cup of tea, but we like a bit of urban every now and again.
Setting up in Slovenia, I had a spring back in my step and a renewed confidence going into the session ahead.
Right guys, so we are currently on Friday evening, and the sun's just going down, and the motorway bridge behind me is lit up, and it looks beautiful. Can't wait to get a few time lapses of that. Swim's kind of pretty much set up now. Robert's got his bivvy up. My stuff's still a bit everywhere, but you know how it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna prep the rods. You can probably hear by my voice I'm absolutely knackered, so I'm not going to do as much filming this evening of getting the rods out. I'm going to concentrate on that tomorrow. I think tonight is just going to be a get the rods out and get my head down, because it's been a lot of travelling, a lot of setting up, a lot of packing up, a lot of setting up, a lot of packing up, some setting up and packing up, that too. So yeah, time to get out on the boat, get these rods set up, get the rods out, get my head down, catch some more carp, and I'll see you shortly with a carp on the bank, even more tired than I am now. Okay then. What is it?
Okay, well, how's about that? First fish from Slovenia, and it's a monster. I think I must have stepped in something, because I am on a roll at the moment, and I think it's due to me feeding just boilies only. I've gone for a big fish approach this time. Loads of different sizes of Scopex squid, from 24 right the way down to 12 mil. and it's been soaked in the spod syrup and the Scopex squid bait dip as well. Pre-soaked the boilies 2 days before I fished them, so they're nice and soft. It just means that when the big fish go through them, it goes through them very quickly and they keep feeding. And it's obviously done the trick here in Slovenia because what a monster! The width of it is just unreal. Big old gnarly head. And yeah, very happy to have banked another crazy lump from Slovenia and on my European road trip. Lovely job.
Come on in. Off you go. Bye, mate. Yes!
With the morning events over with, it was time to top up the swims. Robert had decided to go with a mix of particles and boilies, whilst I decided to stick with the boilie only approach. Around midday I'd received a strange backdrop which I lifted into. Hoping for a quick response to the resupply of boilies I'd put out, I was quickly disappointed as I reeled into nothing but a 6-ounce lead.
Well, I was just sitting there thinking about redoing the rods because we've got dinner on the way. Robert's kindly orders us some pizza, and yeah, the same rod's gone again. Slovenian carping at its finest. That's right there. Oh, good fish.
That's away. Oh, again. Oh my God. Well, would you have it? That's what you get when you've got all the rods on the spot and they're feeding. Now, I've got that drag really loose and I'm just controlling that with my finger. He's on a big run. Let him go. Someone's woken up. So much power. Yeah, angry carp. Ah, yeah, double bubble. No, 52.5. I've been sat there all day waiting for it to happen, and like buses, 2 came at once. This one was the first one, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's another absolute unit. Sticking with that boilie only approach, it's definitely bringing in the bigger fish. Yeah, and this is a fine example of the beautiful commons that are here in Slovenia. Another one to add to the tally. And this trip is turning into something very, very special. Can't wipe this smile off my face. Well, here she is, number 2 of the bus. And it certainly is a bus. Look at the size of this one. Although actually the other one probably looked a little bit bigger. But this one is very wide and very thick and fat. And just a monster, really. They're all monsters. Robert did promise me that Slovenia had some very big fish. And he certainly wasn't wrong. I'm getting spoilt, absolutely spoilt here at Slovenia, and another monster to add to the tally. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, baby. My other rod is ripping. I've got to go. Kill it.
That for the early morning glow. A bright orange ghosty who is probably going to flip on me because he's very, very angry. Here he goes, here he goes. Is he going? No, he's calmed down. And yeah, I was going to put this one straight back, but when I saw it was a nice orange ghosty, I thought I'd best have some pictures in the morning sun. And here she is. One of two. The second one is a lot bigger. Lovely. Let's get ready to go. Yes!
Wow, how's about that for another mega monster from Slovenia? And they just keep on coming. Wow, what a brilliant fish. Another big common. That's the third common I've had now over 20 kilos. And it's just, I was just saying last night, you know, if you make the extra effort and you come to these sorts of places, you're going to get rewarded with monstrous fish like this. I know it seems like a long way, but for those of you that really want to catch the monsters, making that little bit extra effort in the car or in the van certainly pays off a big beast like this. Lovely. Another one for the tally. Dream trip continues. Lovely job.
A well-deserved breakfast was on the go in reward for another gem to grace the bank.
A souvenir for those who find it.
After breakfast, I decided to head back out on the boat to top up the spots. As I was fishing all 4 rods to the same area, I decided to put out long lines of boilies across the spot.
The time we'll run until it all falls down. Never count it.
Right, I'm back. And you may have noticed that today I am sporting the finest slimy t-shirt in appreciation for the monstrous carp that I've caught. Now normally I would change my t-shirt, but I felt like today it was only fair that I wear this like a trophy in appreciation for the monstrous fish of Slovenia. Thank you, Slovenia, and thank you for my slimy t-shirt. It was soon Robert's turn for some action, and he was into his first carp of the session.
Oh, brilliant. The torpedo flies out of the net. She goes. She goes. Way! Well done, mate.
The rest of the day passed without event, and as the sun slowly slipped away, the long darkness once again gave way to the light. I go over the other side to have a wash. Haven't had a run since yesterday morning, and went and put a few bits in the van because we're leaving in the morning tomorrow, and my rod goes. Bloody typical, but it's another monster. Oh yes, lovely job.
And yeah, so this one was the first run I've had since yesterday morning. And I was starting to wonder if I'd maybe put a little bit too much bait out, but really and honestly, when you've got this many big fish in a lake, you can put out as much bait as you want. And I did kind of fill it in a bit. So yeah, another one for the tally. Hopefully a few more starts picking up. No fish last night. It's the first night we've not had anything through the night. Oh no, it did. I lie. Robert had a fish last night, and he put it back. So yeah, so we didn't get any pictures of that one because it's only a small one. It seems like I'm catching all the big boys. Lovely!
With the day once again fading away, I decided to tie up some fresh rigs. Ronnie rigs with size 4 twisters have been the winning tactic for me in Slovenia, and I was going to continue to use them at my next destination in Croatia. The Last Supper was finally upon us, and with no more action for the rest of that day, it was time to relax and soak up the buzz from the last few days. Slovenia had given us all it had to give, and it seemed we were leaving at the right time, as the fishing had slowed down and a period of very hot weather was due. It was time to get back in the van and get into some proper Croatian bangers.
Hello.
Arriving at the lake a few hours later, I was quickly setting up in my swim. After being on the bank for nearly 2 weeks with nothing but a few baby wipes and a bucket wash, I was truly desperate for a shower.
Oh well, that, my friends, is the sound of a sweet, sweet shower. Oh. Oh, this is great.
Shower done, it was time to find my spots. And being the first time I wasn't able to use the boat, it was up to the marker to tell me what I needed to know. Deciding to stick with the same approach as before, I found a soft area around 100 yards where I positioned all 3 rods, feeding boilies only over the top. This particular lake in Croatia is flanked by 2 large mountains which often funnel the coastal air through the valley. Fortunately, there was no strong winds on this occasion and the rods went out with no issues. Watching the clouds roll through the mountains as the evening light faded away was really quite special, and for the first time I felt no pressure to catch carp, but just sit back, relax and enjoy the incredible view. Sometime in the early hours my left hand rod was away and I was into my first Croatian carp. Left hand rod, they're all on the same spot as I usually like to fish it. All 3 rods on the same spot, load of spods over the top. And this fish feels like quite a good one again. So my exceptional run of good luck seems to be continuing. Come on, first one, first one, first one. In she goes. In she goes. Oh. Pops her in.
We had so little, now it's gone.
Whoa, how's about that? First Croatian carp, and believe it or not, it's another chunk. Last night I got the rods out just before dark, put all three on the same spot like it's been working for me in Slovenia and Austria, and it's done the trick. This one went off after putting about 15 or 20 spoms of boilies over the top. Again, just a boilie only approach. It's doing the business and it's really paying off. So nice to get off the mark here in Croatia. First morning here, we've got 2 nights left and hopefully a few more of these to see on the bank. Hopefully. $20mm Scopex squidders. And I've got some 15mm coconut creams here. As they say, variety is the spice of life. And the carp are no exception. We should give them a variety of food, absolutely. Some mornings I like bacon, other mornings I like eggs. Or this morning they might like coconut cream. I bet you they go for the Scopex.
With a fresh batch of boilies prepped, it was time to top up the spots, firing out about 30 spoms to keep them feeding. As the clouds cleared and the sun came out, I got to witness this incredible setting in all its glory.
You knew the stakes, and you made the call.
I spent the rest of the afternoon on the dam wall working and watching the water. Sat behind motionless rods, the evening was soon quick to arrive, and I was back to prepping the rods for the night ahead. The night was uneventful, and with time getting away with me, I decided I needed to change my approach to get into some more of these fish. After a standard morning brew, I got to work and rebaited the swim with a very sloppy mix of spod cloud and Scopex squid syrup. There are a lot of carp in this lake, and I was not about to go home with just one. My change of approach had worked, and by drawing the fish down through the water column with the aid of the spod cloud, the action was relentless.
Oh, my arm is killing me.
Go on, in you go, mate.
In she goes. Oh no. 2 in quick succession. Oh, found you tip the scales at. And it... Oh, you bag. Come on. No, he's just angry as anything. So angry. So angry. Why so angry? I can't. He's too. He wants to go. He just wants to. Right, here we go. I'm going to do this very quickly because this one wants to swim away very quickly. So here is the first Croatian common carp. 36 pounds on the nose. Came after bringing a few changes, fishing the spot cloud with some crab and krill plume juice and some Scopix squid pellet. That did the job. Lovely job. This one hasn't flapped in about 10 seconds, so we're all winning. This should be enough. Lovely job. Over and out. The action continued into the late evening, but my change of tactics had clearly excited a smaller stamp of fish. That was to be the last carp of the night for me, and as dawn broke it was time to reel the rods in for the last time and head off and continue my journey. Watching the sunrise through the clouds for the last time at this beautiful setting, I was off to meet my other half Stephanie for a few days holiday. Stopping off at Plitvice, one of Croatia's national parks, it had beautiful blue waters. With towering waterfalls and dreamlike settings, it was a perfect place to relax and appreciate nature at its finest. Continuing on with our journey, we drove across the vast and rugged landscape of Croatia before arriving in Venice for a few days of culture and good food. Well, morning, and it's a very early morning here in Venice, and today marks the day that I continue on my fishing journey. So I've just stopped in a service station for a quick coffee and a croissant because it was a 4 AM start this morning. Dropped Steph back off at the airport, and now it's time to head to the next venue. So that is the plan of action. That and finishing my coffee and croissant. And I'll see you at the lake shortly. Right, well, I've just arrived, and as you can probably see behind me, it's pretty misty and moody out there, and I can't actually see anything at the moment. But the sun's just about to rise, starting to get light. Hopefully this mist will lift soon, and we can get a bit of eyes on the lake. But yeah, it looks pretty pucker. Bit odd the way it's set up. It almost looks like a park, but excited to get all set up. I'm going to get the stuff out, get the bivvy and that set up. I know what swim I need to be in, just from having a look at the lake and going on previous advice. So going to get the kit out of the van, get all the bits and bobs set up, and then we'll get the rods out a bit later when we can see what we're doing. Lovely. After the mist had started to clear, I was surprised to see a load of work being carried out on the lake. A number of weed cutting boats were out in force, and it was clear that fishing during the day would be almost impossible. Well, I'm going to have to be quick because it's just started to rain quite heavily. It started to rain a little bit earlier, and I put the cameras in and then it stopped, and I thought, oh, that'll be it then. And it's just started kicking off again. But more to the point, take a look at this black beauty here in Italy. Had this one last night, my first one from Italy, and yeah, I put out quite a bit of bait, so I wasn't expecting it to go off so quickly. I was thinking maybe tonight might be the tell, but what an incredible carp. And a great way to start the second part of my journey. Not a monster, as the other ones have been, but certainly one of the best looking of the whole trip, and I'm very, very happy, man. So hopefully we continue the success here at this lake near Venice, and yeah, looking forward to seeing a few more of the amazing creatures this lake likes to hold. Lovely.
After another day of the weed cutters being out in force, I decided it was time to cut my trip short and head home early. My epic adventure had come to an end, and I couldn't have asked for more from this incredible experience across Europe.
Tell me what you want, 'cause you have the power of healing. I need to be close to you. I need to be close to you. I need to.
Well, would you believe it? What a great end to an incredible trip. And I think it was 1 mile too many for the old van. And she's finally given up the ghosts. Thought it was going to happen. Never mind, we'll see how we get on.